Pirates Ultimate Families, how everybody doing out there? Question came through, Khan, do I actually have to be a vegan to be an optimal health being? Do I actually have to be a vegan to be healthy? Can I reach different levels of health in different ways? And when we start having these conversations, we start asking these questions to get very complicated. If we're going to use the term of optimal health or becoming an optimal being, I would say you definitely have to become a vegan. You definitely have to be a plant-based, a alkalarian, a breatharian, or just an individual who has one of those higher frequencies in general, because we're talking about an energetic base when we're talking about optimalness, correct? But like I say, when we start talking about these questions, it's very complicated. But the true answer to the rest of the questions is no, you don't have to be a vegan to actually acquire or attain health. And this is what I mean by this. You have three stages of health. You have three options when it comes to health, correct? These three stages and three options, we're dealing with restrictive diets, which I will come to in a minute, but I want to start with the different stages of health, which we will start with sustainable health. Sustainable health is when you have a complication, right? Not so much of the psychological disorders, but complications of the body and the organs, such as arthritis, gout, osteoporosis, maybe even diabetes or even cancer, correct? uh, when you have these complications, but your body is not at a life risking factor with them, you're able to find a collaborative state and live with these disorders based on the 20, 30 years of damage that you have inflicted on your body, but you have got it to a point where it is coactive with the disorders or diseases and find a sustainable state where it doesn't kill you at a harsh pace rate. You're able to live a little bit longer based on the people who have these complications, right? So next we get to the heal or healing stage of health. And what this is finding ways in organizing the body for when it does get to an older age, or when it does start lacking testosterone or estrogen, or when it does get to menopause, or when it does get to an older stage in the 80s and 90s where you're starting to lose bone health and eye health and brain health. It is going to condition or pre-construct the body to fight off these futuristic disorders or diseases that could possibly come down from receiving toxins over just through normal life. The next stage would be the optimal stage. This is when your body have built an immune system so much and built an alkaline wall up to where cancer cannot survive, and free radicals inside the body cannot survive, and other disorders of the mind, the heart, and cardiovascular system or the respiratory system. These disorders cannot exist because of the great amount of time and preparation that you have put into building up the immune system of the body, correct? Now, going back into the three options that you have to get to these three stages, you have to, like I said, we're talking about restrictive diet. So anytime we hear that, we think of vegans who, we talk about the diets that refrain or stay away from a certain food group or certain toxins, correct? So vegans stay away from animals and animal products. Vegetarians stay away from animals. The keto diet stay away from carbohydrates. Pescatarians stay away from red meat and other lighter poultries. And different things like that, right? And even when you're dealing with fasting is a restrictive diet, you're refraining from food, you're refraining from a certain object or food group for a health matter. These are restrictive diets that we're dealing with here. So the first step or the first option of those restrictive diets will be the caloric restrictive state, right? This is how much you are eating. And if we can figure out how much we're eating, that's the first step of gaining optimal health, right? If you're like us and you eat one time a day, this is labeling, this would be under the labeling of the calorie restriction, correct? The next things will be dietary, and this dietary is what you are eating. This is when we get to the information of not collaborating two different fruits at the same time. Apples does not mix with grapes. It's have two different digestion patterns, rates, and time limits when they're inside the intestines. So your body must pick one or the other. 9 times out of 10, it will pick the heavier food, the starchier food, and it will leave the other one there to create an acidic environment. See, the thing about eating, it's all time lengthy. And this goes into the next is the time when, correct? So if you are, and this goes into fasting, so if you're intermediate fasting, if you're eating, and this, I have other videos that talk about the 3 stages of health. If you're eating between 12 p.m. and 7 p.m., these are the times that you're more active and your body is going to digest the heavier foods at a faster rate. So if you are figuring out how much you're eating, you start counting your calories, correct? Start watching your carbs. If you are watching what you are eating, you're not adding so much bread with the dairy products. You're not adding, and like I say, you don't have to be vegan. This is people who are eating meat and dairy products as well. So you're not eating beef with bread, right? This is where the keto diet intelligence come in at. You're not eating dairy products with bread. You're not eating meat with pop. So if you can figure out these certain foods, how much, what, and when, you can figure out, you start making these options. You don't have to pick all of them, right? You can say, okay, I'm going to only eat at these times, and that will be a way to become healthy. You can say, I'm only going to eat these things, and that's a way to be healthy, correct? So we have to become more intelligent when we're dealing with the 3 options and 3 stages. And this is how we do not exactly have to struggle or complicate things in our life with our loved ones trying to be vegan or vegetarian. I 100% recommend that you become vegan and vegetarian. It's not only killing yourself, but you're damaging the rest of the world. Hence, almost a half pound of burger is equivalent to 660 gallons of water, etc., etc. Farmland, etc., correct? Agriculture. Many reasons why you need to go vegan. Many reasons why you need to become an aquarian or a vegetarian. But if it's that much of a struggle for you and you just know deep down inside you're not going to make the change, think about the intelligent structures of the restrictive diets, the stages of health, and the 3 options that you can intertwine and interject into your life and become a healthier individual. Maybe not an optimal being, but a healthier individual than you are today. So power is ultimate, families. Everybody stay healthy out there.